Well, we're grateful for the crowd this afternoon on a cold Sunday. You know, there was a lot to be excited about. You know, anytime we get to play everybody, I think that's a really cool day for us at least. You know, we tried like crazy to get Henna some shots there at the end because we wanted everybody to score. But in a game, especially in the second half, when you have a lead like that, you know, one of the challenges to your group is always, you know, to come out and try to play clean, try to play really good basketball. And I thought for the most part, you know, we did turn it over 12 times, but you know, I liked our how we stayed focused on trying to you know, play the way that we practice, and so I'm happy that our group, and we had a lot of different lineups in there. We had a big lineup there at the end. You know, some kids playing sort of out of position, but I thought they did a really nice job of, as we call it, trying to play clean down the stretch there. So really happy that you know, on a game like today where everybody could get in and play and score, except for Henna. I thought we did some really good things. The challenge for our group was to come out of the gates early and to be enthusiastic, play with a bunch of energy. We have had 10 days off, and so there was a concern that we'd be a little bit flat, you know, coming out of the beginning of the game. But you know, we challenged them at shoot around this morning, and then once you know, in our pregame talk, just to come out and really get off on the right foot. And so I was proud how they responded to that.
Raise your hand for questions for Coach. Please go ahead with Andy.
Coach, you tested out a couple of different lineups, like you said. Which one of those did you like if you need to rest some of your starters?
Well, I like the big lineup. You know, there was an awful lot of size out there when AG and I think Mo and Henna, you know, was you know, they were, and Lexi, obviously, you know, and Lily, you know, those were the five guys that we had on the floor at one time. And so, you know, I like size. You know, if you know anything about us, you know, we like big guards. And so I like the look. But you know, certainly I was just proud of the way, like you said, you know, Mo is not really used to, and especially AG is not used to playing on the perimeter as much as they did. I like the way, you know, we work on that stuff every single day in practice. I just liked how they handled themselves and how they executed, how, you know, we were low turnovers, especially with that group, how we did push pace, but yet we didn't try to do anything out of the ordinary, and how they stayed together and how well they played together. You know, it's nice to have the luxury that we have with some of those pieces because, you know, we've talked about our depth from the beginning, you know, of this thing. And the more minutes that those kids get, regardless of what the score looks like, is going to be good for us.
It looked like Lily Meister was doing all the right things on defense. I mean, she was communicative. Nothing was really getting past her. I mean, if someone was open, she was on them in an instant. What has she been doing, like, in practice? What has she shown you so far? And kind of a two-parter, what is defense like? How much of an emphasis is that, especially for younger players like her?
Well, I think the answer to your second question is what we found with freshmen in particular, the most difficult side of the ball that they have in terms of learning, right? Their learning curve has always been on the defensive side of the ball. It just takes them longer to understand the system and how to play at this level because there's a lot of strategy involved. And we're not a team, as you know, I've always talked about, we're scouting report specific in terms of our preparation. And so we don't go into any game with the same game plan. And you have to be smart. You have to be flexible in terms of what we're asking you to do. But the biggest thing you have to be is intelligent. And, you know, that's the thing with Lily. She pays attention in scout, in practice. She understands the coverages. She understands what we're trying to take away, what we're trying to do, the expectation of what we need her to do, especially with ball screens and whatnot. But, you know, again, Lily has just continued to get better, you know, inside of our program. I know it's still early, but, you know, this is a kid that is, you know, texts Coach Wiersbe every day and wants to get in extra before practice. And, you know, she's talented. She just needs some experience, and she's been able to get that with AG being out last week. She was called upon to come out against Penn State and Illinois and give us some minutes. And she's a great kid, a great learner, and I feel like she's going to just continue to get better, in our program.
David?
Yeah. David was for the Associated Press. Is there any timetable on Grace Berger? Are you still hoping to get her back at some point this season?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Timetable, it's going to be completely up to Grace and our docs, but her recovery is going really well, and she's obviously off her crutches. She's doing more in practice in terms of her rehab with ball handling and shooting, but not like on the move or anything like that. A lot of stationary movement right now, or lack of movement, but stationary shots and whatnot. But so she's in great spirits. She feels really good about the process, her rehab, and so we're hopeful that I don't know what the timetable is, but we're hoping it'll be sooner than later.
Hi, Terry. Do you ever do interim goals like at the beginning of a season? I know your long-term goal is to do really well in the NCAAs, win the Big Ten, but here you are sort of halfway through the season and you don't have a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're going into the season, did you ever have a conversation with your coaches kind of quietly of, we can win them all?
Yeah,
Or
no,
anything like that?
no, because we know how hard winning is, and I think it's just one game at a time mentality. Now, what I have done with them is like today, game goals. We still, going into the season, we have game goals as far as wanting to shoot 80% from the free throw line. We're not there. We're still at I think 75. Wanting to 15 plus assists. We're doing that right now. We're almost at 20. We want to score 4 to 6 points off of blobs and slobs. We haven't done that as consistently as we want, but we have inside of games been able to do that. Turnovers always staying under 11. We're right at 11.5 right now, and so those are game goals. And then I always give them a defensive goal. Today, Morehead is a team that averaged 60 points, so today it was to keep them under 50. We were clearly able to do that, and so it's those types of things, Lou, that I try to do with them to keep them in check. Right, we're just not going to go out and roll the ball out and play today. We still have game goals that we're trying to achieve inside of every game. To try to keep them focused on that piece of it. And so, they get disappointed as we do. We'll go in and I'll have to share with them that, we turned it over 12 times, and there'll be a disappointment with that, but I'm okay with that, because, a lot of those always come back to see they're self-inflicted, and those are things that we, try not to do. We don't want forced turnovers, or unforced turnovers. And, But, I don't know that any of us thought that, right now, today. But I will say this, the goal is to finish our non-conference schedule the right way. And to do it the right way would be winning all of them, And so we got one more before we have a nice Christmas break and then return for Big Ten play. And so we got, if there's a goal that, we do have is to finish the non-conference schedule off, the right way.
You talked about having a different defensive game plan for every team, every game. What about today's game plan with Morehead State? What about it was able to be so successful to the point where you didn't allow them to score double digits in any?
Yeah, we didn't do anything out of the ordinary. As we always call ourselves, we're very vanilla when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. We just understand who we can gap off of, who we can't gap off of, and the gaps mean the shooters. We felt like there were 3 legitimate shooters out, from outside the arc to this afternoon that we couldn't help off of, and so we're very disciplined in terms of tendencies of the players that we're getting ready to play against, what we're willing to allow. How we're going to guard ball screens, how we're going to guard the high ball screens and whatnot. And I thought our kids, just did a good job of executing the way that we needed to defensively, to be sound, to be solid, to limit, them, make things difficult for them. And And so, I don't think that there was any magic pill. It was just, this is the game plan. Let's go out and let's execute it, and not take any, bad, chances. Let's just be sound and play good basketball. And I thought that's what, you got to see this group do today.
Elsie, do you have something? Do you have a question? Okay, Elsie and then Ari.
So you've said just multiple times throughout the years that your team really emphasizes passing up good shots for great shots, and you kind of saw that in action today. Like, it felt like there were multiple players who could have gone for some really good totals, but they kept passing it off for someone who had a great shot. What's it like to just see that when you preach it? What's it like to see that in practice on the court and just the team working together, everyone jumping off the bench, celebrating that?
Well, I think it's obviously as a staff, we feel really good because those are things that we not just, we talk about, we preach every day in practice. And so, when you can transfer the things that you do in practice into real game experience, that's awesome from our perspective. But I also think it says a lot about those kids. I think, I think for our fans that come out and watch us play, because we don't play above the rim, they want to see pretty basketball, and the way that we can play pretty basketball is by sharing it, right, and not taking bad shots, giving up good shots for great shots, and that's something that we've always wanted to be about, and quite frankly, that's probably what we get the most compliments, in terms of us offensively, is people enjoy watching us play because of our ability to share the ball and our desire to share the ball. But you also have to have willing people and players in your program that are willing to do that. Like as you mentioned, I look. One of the plays that stands out is Alyssa Gary tonight. She could have come down. She was wide open, but she made the extra pass at the top of the key for Chloe, and Chloe, nailed the shot from the top of the key, and Alyssa could have easily have taken that shot, but she passed that up to get a better shot, and so it's nice that things we're doing in practice are things that we're seeing, they're showing up in games.
Ari.
Coach, you've given up 20-something points a couple years ago. I think it was 26. Today it was 24, which is even lower. This program's identity seems to be defense, and you're defending very hard right till the end. What in your past has made you preach defense so much? I mean, what makes you the defensive coach you are so successful?
Well, I think I'm old, right? And I've been doing it for a long time, and I've seen plenty of games where your shot's just not falling, right? And that happens. It happens at every level. And so the one thing that we've always felt like we can rely on is our grittiness defensively, our toughness. That travels everywhere. And I think that's where it came from. My college coach was very much like that in terms of philosophically. Always stress the defensive side of the ball, and we've done that since we've been here. That's where we hang our hat because we feel like we can control a lot of things, on that end. And we is 24 the lowest we've given up?
In your tenure here.
Okay.
No, not in program history.
Not in program. Dang it! So we still got work to do, Ari.
The record's 15.
The record's 15. What would that happen in the 7?
72, 73?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's when they were playing, 7-on-7?
Probably.
Yeah, no shot clock, exactly. So we still got work to do. 15's the goal.
Largest margin is 76. And this is third? Third largest margin, of victory.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else? Coach Moore? All right, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Happy holidays.